it works, because it doesn't let me go more than 12 seconds. 9, 10, 11, 12. Yay! I guess it was a Firefox issue. So, okay, let me put aside the keyboard. All kinds of happenings this morning. So yeah, as bad news, it's not my graphics card, it's my hard drive. So yeah, that's pretty much the same thing. So it is what it is. Hi, Elizabeth. Now, I was thinking of making a tropical flower, and it will be up to you to choose if you want the tropical flower to be as a flower. Hi, Jennifer. Or if you want it to be as a cane. So the tropical flower that I was thinking about was the Hawaiian plumeria. That's also known as the tiare flower. Even if it's not exactly correct, the tiare is a little bit different. And also as frangipani or frangipani, depending on how you want to pronounce it. Oui, je vais très bien. Let me say really quick in French too. Malheureusement, j'ai eu beaucoup de problèmes. Là, le problème avec mon PC, c'est pas le carte graphique, mais c'est le disque central. So, donc, ça sera environ la même expense. Donc, enfin, c'est à vous de décider si vous voulez que moi, j'ai pensé de faire une fleur tropicale, et c'est la plumeria de Hawaï. Et c'est à vous de décider si vous voulez la fleur comme une fleur ou si vous voulez la fleur comme une canne. Hi, Teresa. And I have to warn you now that honestly, when it's about flower, probably I will use Pardo. And as for cane, I will probably use Fimo because of Premo White. I mean, whomever of you did purchase one of the latest batches of Premo White, you know what the horrible problem it is with it. That is, it is stretchy, and you cannot really do much of anything with it. Just use it as a base for a veneer. Hi, Chris. Hi, Donna. Hi, Catherine. So, what would you like better to have? A flower or a cane? Elizabeth says a cane. What about everybody else? And that is to say, whichever you choose now, I will make a separate tutorial for the other one. So it's not like it's one or none. Okay. Another thing that I wanted to show you, but it's going to be a while before I can finish it, and I might actually have to redo it because it's on the hard drive. But I started working on two new tutorials for YouTube, and they were both depending on the latest fashion trends. One of them I will do on this baking base. Some of you probably have seen it in my hi Deborah, in my Amazon influencer store. And if you did not visit my Amazon influencer store recently, and for the ones of you who have used it, thank you so much. It brings me so much closer to be able to get that monitor that's bigger and will allow me to see better. But as I was saying, if you haven't been to in my Amazon influencer store recently, you probably should go. And if you did, you probably noticed that Amazon did something called idea lists. that act like categories. Hi, Shirley. So now you won't have to scroll through hundreds of products in my Amazon influencer store. I actually categorize them. I still have to add quite a few because when it switched like that, it transformed my old Amazon influencer store in one of those lists, and apparently you can only have, I think, like 100 items in each of the lists. So I lost more than half. And also I need to go again and post my comments and my little reviews on each of the products the way that it was in the old. Hi, Mariona. So on this base will be a tutorial that is, if you're not aware of the fact that there are some websites online that always present the jewelry trends, it will be a necklace done following the summer jewelry trends. The other one was actually, as I said, I might have to completely redo it. The other one was done on that other baking base that I showed you a few lives ago on YouTube, and on which I made the faux silver and petersite necklace that was the sponsor's reward for last month. And this is that baking base. And remember, I told you how thrilled I was because it was so thin and elegant. And it is on in Vogue. There was presented a new trend for this summer that involves, if you didn't know, the Birkenstock sandals are back in fashion. And it has a little bit of a boho flair, if you want, but it's also has some kind of safari type flair dressing. The gist of it is that leafy is the new floral. And when I will post the tutorial, I will post a link, even if online you cannot find what you can find in the magazine itself. But you'll still be able, the leaves that are used in these prints are, of course, very stylized and have to look very tropical. So I made a necklace that imitates fabric. Let's hope that, there you go, that imitates fabric in order to be able to match those trends. Hello, Helene. Hello, Mariona. And of course, the tutorial shows you how to make these stylized leaves that are very much like the idea in the leafy is the new floral is that you're supposed to use these stylized leaves that have a very tropical feel to them. So yeah, as I said, I might have to remake this because everything is on the hard drive, but you will definitely get hopefully tomorrow the other tutorial with the other necklace. And no worries, even if the big computer needs repairs, I'll still be able to, goodness sakes, I have 3 laptops in the house. I'll still be able to make tutorials. So let me say real quick in French. Donc, ce que je vous ai montré, c'est que je vais faire 2 tutos sur YouTube. Je vais les poster. Un d'eux, malheureusement, je l'ai déjà fait à peu près complètement, mais malheureusement, c'est sur le disque du computer qui est cassé, donc je dois le refaire. Mais enfin, c'est avec des trends de la mode pour les bijoux de l'été de cette année qui ont été présentés dans Vogue et aussi dans quelques autres sites de mode qui sont en ligne. So, If you want cane, I would rather go with Fimo, honestly, just because it is more readily available to people. So let me see, it's not this. And again, I apologize for being so late, but you know how it is when you have computer issues. Bonjour Dominique, bonsoir. Bonjour. So let's see, we shall need yellow, white. Let me make sure that I grab the Fimo. You have no idea what's on my table here. Okay, there we go. I don't have orange Fimo, so we are going to use just a touch of red. And then I do have some Fimo translucent that will need a bit of conditioning. But that's why I think that for a cane, it's much more advisable that I would do it in Fimo and not in Pardo, just because the white in Pardo is so hard to. Okay, this is not the white Fimo. Hold on, I might have to do some. This is Pardo. The white in Pardo is so hard to find in the US and in Canada. So these are the Fimo Professional. So obviously it is the yellow and the red. Let me grab the white. There we go. So I will be using the Fimo Effect Translucent and the Fimo Professional White. Fimo Professional Yellow, Fimo Professional Red, Fimo Professional White, and the Fimo Effect Translucent. Donc, pour ceux qui ont venu plus tard, on va faire une canne de la fleur de plumeria de Hawaï. Et parce que le Premo, la pâte Premo blanche a été très pauvre qualité. Dernièrement, c'est très élastique, on ne peut pas la travailler dans une canne. Si j'ai dû choisir entre Fimo et Pardo, et parce que le Pardo est si difficile à trouver aux États-Unis et au Canada, spécialement quand il s'agit du blanc, j'ai choisi de faire ça avec du Fimo parce que le Fimo, on peut le trouver partout. So, essentially, how many of you know how the Hawaiian plumeria looks like? And how many of you don't know how the Hawaiian plumeria looks like? Because I will be explaining how we are going to create the cane. I was going to do anyway tutorial on how to create canes, starting with a photo when you're talking about lifelike images. And Hawaiian plumeria is a real flower. What it is interesting in the plumerias, and you always have to make sure that you always, let me bring it up, and I will just move the camera. And you must always be careful to, imitate that specific thing. Is the way that the petals come together. Let me see if I can bring it up nice and well. Sorry. Okay. There we go. Okay, I'm going to move and switch the screen. So if you notice, let me get something that's easily seen. See how the petals pretty much overlap. They always have 5 petals that are a very delicate white at the tip that has a little bit of translucency. And then comes a type of, if you want, half Skinner blend, half iCat cane. Then you see that this yellow part comes in an arch like this, and then veers a little bit towards orange. Also, the edges of the flower are slightly raised. So here we will have to imitate this game of light and shadow. Let me say it real quick in French. Donc, ce que c'est très important en imitant, en faisant une canne de la plumeria, c'est d'imiter la façon dont les pétales viennent ensemble. Vous voyez comme elles vont une sur l'autre. Il y a toujours 5 pétales et on va faire un Skinner blend dégradé qui sera un peu avec un élément de la canne iCat. Et vous voyez comment le dégradé jaune fait un arc ici et ensuite va un peu vers l'orange. Et aussi, on devra imiter le jeu de ombre et lumière pour pouvoir imiter parfaitement la tridimensionnalité de la fleur. Okay, let me get back on this. Okay. Yes, they do. Yeah, that's what they make the lace with. And of course, it can be found in different colors, but the most known, the basic frangipani is the white and yellow one. So essentially, we need to make a Skinner blend that we are going to, that we are going to iCat a little bit and then preserve a little bit of it for that shadowy idea that we have there. So yeah, I apologize for not being ready with my clay, but again, I had all kinds of issues. So let's see, essentially our flower, I know, she's drawing again. Where's my pencil now? There we go. So essentially what we need is pretty much, there will be a log, right, that will have to have this portion, this edge will have to be slightly lighter than the rest. We are going to have a gradient slash ICAT that goes like this. Actually, not this high, pretty much more like from here. But also the gradient on this will be a little bit lower because obviously it's the continuation of the edge of the petal. So it will be kind of like this. So here we'll have to make sure that we enhance the fact that this is a little bit lighter. And then because these will overlap like this, we'll have to make sure that this area, especially this area, has a slightly darker tinge. So how are we supposed to do that? Number one, we have to obviously condition the clay and then make a skinner blend. Now for the skinner blend, I will be using obviously the white. I will be using a touch of translucent at the very end. Then I will be using the yellow and I'll put just a touch, a grain of red. Hi, Carol. A grain of red to veer that yellow towards the red, towards the orange, sorry. Just because I don't have orange. But if you have ever read my tips and tricks and advice on my website, one of the advices that I give there is, when it comes to female professional, if you want to never have an issue whenever you might need to use it and you might need a specific color that you don't have, with female professional, as long as you have the primaries, because it is a true color line, the same as Pardo, as long as you have the three primaries, yellow, red, and blue, and then white and black, you can make pretty much any color you need. So on top of that, I would also add the translucent. So having these 6 choices would allow you to do any kind of color you might need in Fimo. Now remember, this is not valid for Premo. Premo has what's called an artist palette color selection. So you might have the unpleasant surprise to mix what you think should give you a proper color, like a red and the blue, and come up with, instead of violet, come up with brown. Or like it is if you try and lighten up the sunshine, the yellow sunshine. Hi, Valerie. And mix it with white, you'll get something that's got a fairly strong tinge of green. So yeah, Premo is not valid for the 3 primaries because it doesn't really have primaries. So give me just a few minutes here to get my clay ready. Let me grab some translucent as well. Of course, we will need more, but for now I'm only getting a little bit. Bonjour, Valérie. And I don't have to worry too much about conditioning it a lot, because if we are doing a Skinner blend, obviously it will get very conditioned during making the Skinner blend, right? So let us try and get a nice end here. So I'm going to place these like this. Donc Valérie, on fait une canne de la plumeria de Hawaii. And then I will place this here just a little bit over, even if I don't really expect it to be fully translucent. I'll have a lot of white going into it, but remember that the white is the most opaque of all colors in polymer clay. And for now, let's add this much, and we'll see if we need more. I haven't worked with Fimo in ages, really, so sometimes we need to fall back on the old thing, you know. So, and there's a reason why I haven't worked with Fimo in ages, because it's very, very hard on my hands. But yeah, and with the big computer, the problem is that it's Saturday. So hopefully I'll find something on Amazon and be able to get it Monday. And I'll see if I can handle the computer by myself, because it's not a matter of knowledge here. It's just a matter of hand strength, if I can install the hardware. If not, there's a very nice computer repair shop close to me, and they are very affordable, so there wouldn't be an issue. Okay, I didn't put enough yellow here. So let's do the Skinner blend, and I'll move this on top of the machine so you can watch me making Skinner blend. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, and when I was moving the big computer around, I hit this poor motor with my head. I actually lifted it. I'm amazed I didn't get a concussion. Now, remember how I showed you to shorten the stack? And actually, there's also the rolling method. There's a tutorial for beginners I have on YouTube that you can find in my playlist with basic techniques. It's easy to find on Skinner blend. And I showed there several ways of reducing narrowing back the whole sheet if it gets too wide on you. And here I think I'm going to have to use the roller on this. Sorry, I'm not going to move the camera again. Okay, so very careful when you have this happening because it might twist your sheet from your hand. So always hold it. See how it tries to do it this way? Okay, at this point I'm going to place my little grain of red. And it's this much, and I'm going to just place itty bitty seeds of it like this. And then continue with my skinner blend. Soon I will change on a thinner setting. I'm going thinner and thinner. And here is my red. Sorry, it's very uncomfortable for me to work like this. Cannot get on top of the machine because of the camera, but I think that you pretty much need to see all the steps. Now, what we need to do, because we have a lot of raggedy rags. So what we need to do is to bring these raggedy rags back in the fold, so to speak. You see? So see how we have here some yellow past the red? Just nicely cut it and then bring it towards the end of the red in the yellow. And the same here. here just because a Fimo like Pardo being a harder clay, it will always have these pretty much these raggedy ends. Not the Fimo Soft, obviously. Hi, Julia. So let's get back on the machine after I there. We can go back on the machine now. And at this point, we want to narrow it again because we need it very narrow when we start doing the log, and we want that perfect gradient to be done in a specific way. So let's get it back. And then fan fold it very, very tightly. We don't want it to be a lot more narrow, but enough to allow us to do that Skinner blend iCat. Hello again, Deborah. And this should be the last time we do the gradient. After this, we should be able to start working on the iCat gradient. I mean, the last time we go with it through the pasta machine. And again, a lot of care. You need to be very, very careful when it's thin like this, how you put it in the machine. This is not good. Okay, now let's get back on the machine. And the machine, I turn it back on the thicker setting now. Because this thing is thick, it's not thin anymore. But we want the very last pass to be on a very thin setting in order to do that iCat. Okay, at this point we have a nice gradient, pretty much what we need. So I'm going to do a very difficult task, and that is to get this on a very, very thin setting. So let me prepare my granite with some almorol. And let me say something real quick in French. Donc je prépare ma base de granit avec du l'armorol. Et on m'a demandé plusieurs fois où est-ce qu'on peut l'acheter en Europe. J'ai trouvé quelques magasins, vous pouvez aussi le trouver sur le Amazon d'Europe, mais si vous ne pouvez pas le trouver, ce que vous devez chercher, il y a des protectants pour les endroits de votre voiture qui sont en quelque sorte de plastique. Donc, pour le volant, pour ce qu'il y a autour du volant, vous savez, ce spray que vous mettez pour protéger ces places et les faire brillantes. C'est ce que vous devez, ce que vous avez besoin. So, now I'm going to turn it to a thin. And this is a... it's a 6 or a 7, I cannot see. But anyway, I'm gonna go with it. Okay, and we are ready to rumble. Now we are going to create that slide iCat thing. And the way to create it is to actually just place them one on top of the other. So let's start for, let's say, about an inch height. This will be the height of this. What you see here as width will be the height of the stack. And you have to just watch about doing it fairly on the spot and cut properly. Maybe. Because the clay by itself, because there are little areas where it's not fully identical, you'll have something like an iCat. So after putting up the first 5 or 6, we are going to actually start moving it a little bit. We want to bring it a little higher. So for the next one, we are going to place it with this coming more this way. Still the same place here, but we bring it a little bit lower. Now, one thing that you need to keep in mind, let's find a place on it where we have a lot of white. And this would be here. Let's get this area separate from the rest. This will be our middle. And see how here you have more orange. This will be our edge. So let's place this. Remember, this is higher, this is lower. Let's place this on the lower, and the same for this edge here. And then continue placing our little gradienty thing. Can you do it faster than just fanning? You can, but it will not look as tidy and pretty. I prefer to go easy and do it the right way, you know. So, goodness, I've been on already for 46 minutes. Yeah, we might have to interrupt, take a break if I need to take a break and then restart it. But, you know, that's pretty much common in my lives lately. And yes, some of you have, and I didn't have time to answer to all the messages I got today because I was so caught with the whole computer thingy. Some of you asked, how did yesterday my doctor thing go? It actually went better than I thought. Well, for one, he didn't give me 7 shots as usual. I only got 5. So, but once the local wore off, it wasn't that painful. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm just losing too much feeling. So, but yeah. So it wasn't that bad, and that's why I was able to work on that tutorial, which was for nothing, but oh well. Another thing that I have to tell you, because you know how I make my little announcements during the lives. If you have seen my post a while ago, Trish told me that unfortunately Prima Marketing is has stopped producing the Opal Magic mica powder. Trish's supplier is completely out of the blue Opal Magic mica powder, and the other ones are how much there still is on Amazon. That's going to probably be it. But I have been searching high and far for manufacturers of mica powders, and I have ordered a few samples. So if any of those work at least half as good as the Opal Magic, or if I manage to do a proper mix that would be able to give the same effect or approximately the same effect, I will definitely, I already talked to Trish, and we will try to see if we cannot, you know, do our own formula and she can repackage it, package it and all that. So hopefully it will work. Now, remember I told, no, I'm gonna just put this here. It's only my thing. Remember I told you this will be our middle. Now we'll go pretty much like this. And I don't know if you noticed on the flower right here in the middle, it seems that the that whole gradient is a little bit stronger. So what we are going to do here, we have a little bit more white. And yeah, there's a little corner here that I'm going to add here as well. But let's place this longer white even more in your face, so to speak. So let's pull a little bit on it, and you see I arranged all this the same, but I'm going to pull it a little bit further up. And now we will get half a circle pretty much. But so this will be our half a circle. But remember what I said, that on one of the edges we need this to look lighter. So what we are going to do, actually, we are going to get it back this way, and this is going to be a little bit I don't know how to call it, more difficult if you want, because we need this brought pretty much in a, and then we are going to cut a slice from here as straight as we can, cut straight down if I can. Okay, I think I need my acrylic block thingy. Remember, this is what I do when I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to hold the stack up properly. I just fix it on the acrylic block, then I hold the acrylic block like this, and then it's easier to hold on the stack to be able to cut a slice at the very end. And of course the female being harder. Let's see, it came off. Let me try with the rigid blade. It's one of those, I might show you how it's done, but not able to do it myself. Well, let's hope it will look okay. Yay, I did something. Most of what I needed, so that's the most important thing, because that thing doesn't come all the way up. And now to the tip of the flower, and now we get it back the way it was. The thing that we need on this one, because remember we are supposed to actually make it kind of stand out, and here you can use an exceptionally faint I mean, like, I don't know, the size of the tip of a needle of black in what I'm going to do next. Because what I'm going to do next is to take a very thin slice of white. Of course, I'm going to take it through the pasta machine, obviously. But I don't need a lot of it, just a little bit. And I'm going to go with it through the pasta machine on a very thin setting. And another thing that you can do is to actually get just a minuscule slice of translucent as well. And also get it on the pasta machine on a very thin setting. So let me do that. I'm not going to move the camera for this. So I have here the white and here the translucent. I'm going to sandwich them, and don't forget which side is the translucent. That's very important. it through the plasticky thing. Okay, now we are going to cut this in two. And then put together our little flower. And of course I didn't cut it into perfectly, but oh well, it happens, always happens. And then on the side that's supposed to be that where the flower comes and overlaps. Remember, this is a translucent and I am going to put it against the cane. And you don't need it all the way up. You only need it about 3/4 of the way up, 2/3 of the way up, maybe. And don't throw this because we shall use it. Don't put it in the scrap. So we have this here. Then we shall place remember how this is supposed to come a little bit lower. So we are going to place it right here. So this part goes away. I didn't cut it ahead of time because I had to see where it stops. And in order to make the petal properly, because remember that we need to show this one that is a little bit darker, where because the petal on top of it will be casting a little bit of a shadow. We are going to actually place what we just cut, and let me make it a little bit longer and thinner. And we shall place it on the other side from the one that is lighter. So remember that in all of this, the whole idea is to what in French is called trompe l'œil. That means tricks the eye, because the same as it is with watercolor, that you can see just some lines, especially with certain artists, and you're like, what the heck are they doing there? And only in the end, with the last final touches, the whole thing comes together. And this is the same thing when you do canes that are supposed to imitate real life or a photo or something like this. It has to trick the eye. There will be no shadow here. Of course, we will push this in when we put the petals together. There will be no shadow here, but just because the color is different, it will look like a little bit of a shadow. The same here, there will be a very, very thin line that will enhance the whiteness, because see how here it is way whiter and the gradient starts much lower. It will just enhance the whiteness of that end. So all we need to do now is to reduce it, and I would want to let it sit. So let's take a short break. I've been on for an hour. It is close to 2 p.m. where I am. Let's take about an hour break. So, because in some areas it's lunch time, so people might want to eat. Let's take an hour break, and I will see you again in an hour to finish this. And I promise I will not reduce it offline, because a lot of people ask me about reducing and ask me to do it uh, live so they can see exactly how I'm doing. No matter how many times I showed it in the tutorials, apparently it's very useful for people, especially for the beginners, to see how this is done. So it will be perfect for this to cool down a little bit, so we won't have any kind of deformation. And in the meantime, I will be able to condition the translucent that we will need for wrapping, and we'll go from there. So thank you for being here, and I will see you in an hour. Thank you.